Dad, you don't want to do this. You don't want to put all the personal dynamic of the company as the foundation and then try to fit business over it, which is the big mistake I see happening in a lot of family businesses. You should establish the business fundamentals first. This is what you have to do to work here. These are the fundamentals you need to follow. This is where you need to be accountable. These are the business fundamentals. You either fit inside these business fundamentals or you don't. And if you flip it upside down, you're going to have trouble sooner or later. And then once you're gone, the business is not going to succeed. At some point in time, it's going to have to be sold off, and your legacy is going to be lost. Business fundamentals first, then you put the personal dynamic over it, and your children either fit within the business fundamentals or they don't. Now, what do you do if it's too late? Let's say you've made all these mistakes. What do you do to try to fix it? All right, the first thing you want to do is define excellence. And what I mean by that is you go through the entire org chart and figure out what sort of business fundamentals need to be in place to define excellence in the organization. Now, I find sometimes that can be really difficult without getting a third party involved, especially if there's family history that can create problems. And so it's important then to get some help and say, look, in this position, in the CFO position, how do we define excellence? In the COO position, how do we define excellence? And just go through the whole org chart and all the different divisions, regional sales, service, on down the line. Get those fundamentals in place and then begin to do coaching by, again, I think bringing in a third party and having that third party develop a roadmap for each of your children to be able to get to a position to where they can improve their performance and get to a position where they are very valuable in the position that they're in and earn the respect of the rest of the team because of the way that they're performing. And that means you also have to put in place accountability. You're defining the performance measures that you want to have in place to make sure that the children recognize that they're going to either have to perform at that level or mom and dad are going to have to help you find another place to work. It's really, really key that you do that. Now, again, I say it may be impossible to do that on your own given the history. So bringing in an outside team to help you with that, I think, is real important. This is another one that's pretty tough, but the personal lifestyle of the child need to be good too. If they're out at bars all night, if they've got addiction problems, if they've got anger and temper problems, if they have a sense of envy or revenge in the way that they look at their other siblings, if they're carrying on in a way that is not productive and not useful for the family, and they aren't fitting within the business fundamentals that you want to see in place, you have to help them find someplace else, but they can't be on the payroll. It creates way too much toxicity and poison in the whole environment if you keep them on the payroll and you've got them creating drama that is undermining the morale of the organization. Another thing that I want to mention is getting them maybe into a business boot camp. Sometimes the only mentor that the children in the family business has been mom and dad. And there's a whole world out there that they need to learn about, and getting into a business boot camp to help them become smarter and wiser at running and operating companies and being able to do a better job of managing the finances, the sales, the service of an organization is really, really important. And they just can't rely on mom and dad. It's really important that you get them exposed to organizations, associations, and leadership coaches and business coaches so that they can go through a business boot camp and up their competency in such a way that they are a very productive member of the business. Lastly, I want to mention this. No coddling. Parents will often make excuses for their children, and they'll coddle them and keep them on the payroll, try to keep them happy, make sure that they have money hitting the checkbook so the grandkids are taken care of, and you coddle the child to the point where they really don't grow as a professional. They really don't know what it's like to struggle and suffer to get ahead. Some of the best things that can happen to your children is for them to have adversity to break them out of laziness, entitlement, and a sense of, look, I don't have to apply myself because all my needs are met. If you coddle them by keeping them on the payroll, it's a real problem. But you got to do these things to set the stage for them to become adults and grow up and learn how to perform and be a key member of the team.